Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephanie Poole. I am the founder of Birth Prep Academy, where we teach pregnant women how to prepare for their first birth. And I am so happy to be here today and happy that you guys joined me. So I know it's been a while. There's a lot that's been going on. And so, yeah, I just wanted to jump in today and do a quick live. So, okay, wait, let me back up a little bit. August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And so it's really important that we really put emphasis on it, especially given the state of everything now with the formula shortage and things like that. It just is very near and dear to my heart to be able to really try to give real life answers and application for new moms at this particular point because of that issue, which we will be jumping into in just a little bit. So hang with me. Today we are going to be talking about breastfeeding. Like, does it matter, right? Outside of the formula shortage, up until this point, everyone pretty much, would ask this question. And I think even now, still probably ask the question. But I think it's important to jump in today and really give some solid information about why breastfeeding matters. So the spoiler alert is that my fundamental belief is that it absolutely does matter. So that's the spoiler alert. That's where I stand on this particular question. So right out the gate, boom, there's my answer. Does breastfeeding matter? Absolutely. But the real question is why? Why does breastfeeding matters? And I could literally go on and on and on. For those of you that don't know, I'm a certified childbirth educator as well as a certified microbiome educator. And basically that is a real fancy way of saying that I teach about breastfeeding and the gut, right? And so we're going to jump into that in just a little bit to really talk about why breastfeeding is important. But I actually have three reasons why. I can name very easily 10 or 12, but I've narrowed it down to three for the sake of this conversation to really be able to dig in some of the just real, basic points of why breastfeeding is important. So let's go ahead and jump into that. The very first reason, and these are in no particular order, but the very first reason is just simply because of the bonding time that you get to have with your baby. And that starts immediately from birth. So we know that it's best if you can get your baby to latch and to really bond with your baby during that, even as soon as the first hour. So the very first hour after giving birth, the sooner you can get your baby latched, the better chances you have of really having a good milk supply and really building that necessary function of just getting everything going and working, right? And so with that being said, this is such a intimate time with you and your baby. This is time that you can't get back. Trust me, as a mom, you'll hear it literally a gajillion times. People will tell you, oh, it goes by so fast, but it really does. I'm the parent of two, and that time has gone by. I can really literally remember them being born, and now one is headed to 9th grade and the other one second. So that time really does go by fast. And breastfeeding really makes you slow down and take the time to bond with your baby. Now, we know through research that there's a whole nother set of, and maybe that's for another live that we can do. But there are a whole set of benefits just for bonding and doing skin to skin contact. So we know that that is already a benefit. But in addition to that, it really just slows you down. You get a chance to look in your baby's eyes. Your baby gets a chance to study you, the smell of you, your voice. Everything is so soothing, and it really helps babies to thrive. We think of just meeting our baby's needs as far as feeding them and making sure that they have a clean bottom, but it goes so much further than that. There is such a condition called failure to thrive, and that's when the baby doesn't really get the contact, right? The nurturing that they need to grow. That can really stunt a child's growth. And so to really help the child developmentally, it really just forces you to slow down and to take that time to bond with your baby. It is like none other. You will never get the time back. It goes by fast. Trust me, you need it. As well as even for you as a new mom, it really helps you because it helps you in your recovery to just slow down. The time that you take out to really breastfeed and bond with your baby is also going to help you, because it gives you that time out that sometimes you need, so that you're not going, but you really do step back to again have some bonding time with your baby. So bonding time with your baby during those cluster feedings and those growth spurts can be overwhelming, but trust me, it is unparalleled. To the benefits far outweigh the sacrifice of having to really set aside time to do it and to do it quite regularly. So the very first reason I am propositioning you is about why breastfeeding matters is because of the bonding time. Okay. My second reason for why breastfeeding matters is obviously, like I mentioned at the beginning of this live, the food shortage, right? The formula shortage that we're experiencing now, which has kind of been going back and forth. I'm sure a lot of you have heard on the news. At one point they said we were getting things under control and everyone should be able to get access. And then, a few days later, it was like, well, we're still running into a few bumps. It may take a little longer than initially, planned. And so the short of it all is that the formula is not as available as we had hoped. Now, some of the formula and some babies really do require special formulations. So I know that there are moms that have to feed their baby soy formula for a lot of different medical reasons, right? But outside of those extenuating circumstances, let's say your baby is healthy, you are healthy, then the next best option really is seeking to breastfeeding. Hands down. You can wake me up at 2 a.m. and ask me that question, and my answer is still going to be breastfeeding as your first primary option. It should be, I believe, what we seek to go to first. Why? Well, because it is all natural. It's what we are essentially made to do in that sense. And I'm speaking specifically in the sense of when we reproduce and we have babies, this is a natural process for our bodies to be able to function in this way, right? And so that alone lets us know that it is optimally the best option for our baby. Breast milk, fundamentally, we even now, it's been around since the beginning of time, and yet we are still discovering all of the benefits and the makeup of what it is comprised of and how that affects our bodies. Even now today, they're finding out new and improved information about how it helps to create microbiome in the gut and what that means for us. I'm going to get into that in just a minute, but I just, I feel like it's important to understand that there may be an alternative for this shortage, right? Again, we're not talking about babies that have extenuating circumstances and require special formulations, okay? That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your baby that is healthy without any extenuating health concerns or issues. You do not have any extenuating health concerns or issues. In other words, both of you and your baby have been deemed what doctors would say is well or healthy. In this particular instance, breastfeeding is absolutely an option. We don't necessarily have to be fearful of a shortage because you make milk on demand, right? And so not just because of the food shortage, but also let's talk about, okay, so versus the food shortage, what is it, right? It's the convenience of availability. You make it on demand feedings. When your baby cries, when your baby is hungry and expresses those cues to let you know, hey mom, it's time to feed, your body responds to that, okay? It naturally knows what to do to respond to that. Not to mention the convenience of it, right? It's hard now to find certain formulas in the store. I was literally in Walmart the other day, y'all, and I walked past. I get, you know what? The next time I go in, I'm gonna take a picture because I was surprised to see it was not just the special formulations. It was literally like there was maybe 1 or 2 cans on the shelf. 1 or 2 cans on the shelf. And so what that equates to is, if that were me and if I'm looking for formula, now I'm riding around to all the different stores trying to find, the particular formula for my baby. And if you don't know, a lot of times once you start on a particular formula, this is also another reason why the food shortage or the formula shortage, has been such a big deal, is because you don't want to mess with that. Once your doctor or you have determined a particular formula, it's not good to then switch from formula to formula to formula, right? You want that consistency. Your baby's body, specifically speaking, the tummy, is very gentle. And so you don't want to introduce all of these formulas. Well, breastfeeding is a way to not really have to worry about that. It makes specifically what your baby needs at the time they need it. So here's a fun fact about breast milk. It changes. It is not the same for the duration of your time breastfeeding. Well, what does that mean? That means that what your baby gets at newborn stage is different than breast milk given at 3 months or 6 months or 10 months. It changes according to how your baby is growing and the stage that they're at. If your baby is sick, your breast milk will adjust to prepare more antibodies inside of the breast milk. It is literally phenomenal how your breast milk will begin to take shape to accommodate the health and needs of your baby. This is not my opinion. This is evidence-based. This is based on evidence of research, okay? And so these are different studies that have come out to really show the benefits of breastfeeding. So we talked about the bonding time, right? And we talked about the fact of, not have the convenience of availability, right? Not having to worry about a food shortage and how convenient it is to actually be able to do your feedings. You don't have to warm up bottles. You don't have to do night feedings. So the convenience of availability, I mean, you cannot beat it. You absolutely cannot beat it. So now let's move on to the third value, which I kind of dipped into when I talked about the nutritional value of the breastfeeding. But let's talk about exactly that. Why is breastfeeding, why does it matter? Well, we know it matters because of bonding time, right? We know it matters because of the food shortage and how things have not been very available or accessible. And so the third reason is because of the nutritional value, okay? When you breastfeed, and I mentioned this just a moment ago, you help to seed your gut, your baby's gut, excuse me, so that they create a microbiome. And for those of you that might be wondering, well, what exactly is that? It is the good bacteria in your gut that helps you to fight off disease and to help stabilize your homeostasis and your growth, right? And so every time you introduce breast milk to your baby, and they are able to feed and digest, you are doing way more than just the nutritional value that they get at that time, right? You are also seeding their gut for future ability to fight off disease. It's a double whammy. You're doing double the work in one feeding, in one sitting with your baby. This is absolutely one of the things this is one of the reasons why I'm so super passionate about breastfeeding, especially, like I said, we are currently, it is August, and we are kicking off Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Y'all, this is so important. And if it's just one person that watches this or that reads my blog post or sees an Instagram post or listens to the podcast, whatever it may be, if it's one person that decides to breastfeed because of something that they learned here, I am grateful. I am grateful because it is hands down, I believe, one of God's greatest miracles, to be able to give us the ability to not just feed our babies, but literally provide them with nutritional value that just keeps on giving. It just keeps on giving. So with that being said, let's just do a quick recap. Breastfeeding, does it matter? That was the opening question. Does it really matter? It absolutely matters, y'all. It matters. It matters because of the bonding time that you get with your baby. You absolutely cannot get it back. There's nothing like it. There's such an intimacy that's created because of it. So it absolutely matters. It matters because of the bonding time. It matters because of the convenience of availability. You never have to worry about where you're going to get the formula from, right? You never have to worry about if you can't get the prescribed formula, what will another formula do? Will it suffice? You never have to worry about that because the breast milk you make for your baby is hands down the absolute best thing that you could do. It's literally a prescription that you prescribe from you to your baby, right? And then thirdly, it absolutely matters because of the nutritional value. It's not only great for bonding, it's not only great for convenience, right? No warming bottles, no night, getting up in the night and, fumbling with warming up formula and things of that nature. No, it's convenient and it's optimal nutritional value. It delivers optimal nutritional value. So, of course, going on throughout the month, you'll hear me talk more and more about this because, again, I just want to try and get the word out. even more so than we already do. It is what we do, right? Our 3 pillars at Birth Prep Academy is childbirth, birth prep, and breastfeeding right from birth. That is what we prepare our moms to do. And so even more than what we usually do, we're going to ramp it up this month just so that we can make sure we are getting the word out about how essential breastfeeding is. It is a very viable option, and in my opinion, it should be really pursued at all costs, given the benefits, right? So with that said, if you enjoyed this type of content, please make sure to like this video and to follow us here where you are listening to this at or watching it. Please make sure to reach out, and you know what, actually leave me a comment and let me know what you are looking forward to as far as breastfeeding, right? And then also, I just want to let you know to check out our website, birthprepacademy.com. There are some free resources that are there to help you. There is one specifically about how to build and sustain your milk supply. Y'all, it's absolutely free. Just head over to birthprepacademy.com/milk supply. You can download that today, okay? And it has some really, really good information in it. And then also, I am so excited to announce I finally have a program that's ready. You guys know I've been talking about it since like the beginning of the year. It took a while to really get it refined and just ready for you guys, right? And so now it is, y'all, I'm so excited. So we'll talk about that more at the end of the month. But if you would like to jump on our wait list, which hint, hint, you definitely want to jump on, because there will be some pretty good stuff for those that join our wait list. You'll get to know first, and a birdie told me maybe some other surprises as well. So thank you for joining. I will see you guys next time, and until then, happy birthing.